Hey, it's Steve from Steve G's Garage. It's cold, wet, rainy, and miserable outside. A perfect day for installing some heated grips. So let's go. Hey, it's Steve. Welcome back to Steve G's Garage. I've got the Kajiva stripped down here. We're going to be installing some heated grips on this bike. The grips I'm going to be installing are the Koso heated grips. You can get these off of Amazon or eBay. I really like these grips. I've used them on two other bikes. A couple of features I really like about them. One is to adjust the heat temperature. It's at your left thumb. You can get to it, it's right on the grip with a little LED readout, which is pretty cool. That way you don't have to look down, take your hands off the handlebars to turn a knob somewhere, make adjustments. It's right there on the bars. Really simple. And like I said, they haven't failed me yet. I've got them on two other of my bikes, and they've worked great. So today I'm going to take you through what's necessary to install these, and yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so let's take a look at these grips here and see what is in the box on these. Again, these are available off of Amazon or eBay. They're fairly inexpensive. They're in the $120 range or so. And it pretty well comes with everything that you're going to need to install these grips. Okay, so this is your grip package right here, and there's two sets. And these, by the way, are when you order these, you got to be careful. There's a couple options available. As you can see, these are two different sizes. So this is my 7/8 for my left-hand side. This is my inch for my throttle. They're different size holes. You need to check to see what your bike is set up with. These are available 7/8, 7/8. Or 7/8 1 inch, and there's different lengths of grips. There's, I believe, 120 and 140. Now the 120 mil is what is going onto my bike. But like I said, the thing I like about these is right here is your switch for your 5 different temperature settings. And you'll see when we have these connected, this little LED light right here goes different colors depending upon what you have selected. And it's a very easy installation because all you're doing is supplying power and ground to it. The wires are going to be external on the handlebars, so you need to make sure when you install them you have plenty of slack as you rotate your throttle. But this is it, really simply it. There's not much to them here. So let's get them on the bike. Okay, so one of the first things you're going to need to do when you want to install these grips is we need to find a switched hot leg for power. And what I mean by that is when you turn the key on, that power leg goes hot. You switch the key off, it kills it. The reason being we want to do this is because the heated grips will drain your battery fairly quickly. So in my case, I have added a line to my fuse box that is a switched hot line. This is it right here. Brought it up to the front of the bike, and this is what I'll be using to wire it. So if we go back to my fuse box, you can see right here I have a little note that this one is my heated grips. So basically what I've done is the switch side of the fuse box, I've added 2 more fuses in here. One is for the heated grips, the other one's for my phone connection or my USB-C connection at the front. And I've run wiring all the way up through the bike and popped it out right here to put the grips on. Okay, so let's look at putting these grips on. And like I said, this is the 7/8 side, which is what this is on here. And when we put this grip on, we want to make sure that that button right there ends up to where when we're riding, we can get to that with our thumb and turn it on and off easily. These grips are a little bit different than your standard rubber grip. Usually you can put the rubber grip, get it started, put some compressed air underneath it and slide the whole grip on and release it and let it go. These are a hard interior on these, so there's no using any kind of air. So the only way you can get these on is to start them and then find a way to migrate them down the handlebar here. Now the kit comes with some glue, and I've heard of other people using things like hairspray, but you need to put something on here that's going to lubricate this for right now, and then dry or set up to hold the grip in place. So in our case, we are going to try and do this with the glue that came with the kit. There'll still be a bit of force involved, so I'll probably come back and knock the end of this in with my mallet just to get it pushed all the way on and seated where I want it. Okay, now this is the glue that comes in the package, and it's just a super glue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to puncture the end of this and then just kind of smear it around on here a little bit. You notice I've got my gloves on so I don't end up sticking myself, my flesh to this thing. And just kind of smear it all onto here so that you have a good slick little surface ready to go. Put the lid back on the glue, and I'm going to take my gloves off now so that I don't end up sticking myself to the grip. And we're going to take a grip, and by the way, these ends come in the kit. I put these ends on there so that I have something to hammer against when I go to put this on. So you can only get that grip so far. And something that's important is the orientation here of our control. So I got to make sure this is going exactly where I want it. Okay, and the grip is right there at the end of the handlebar. And my thumb is in position back here so I can get to it while I'm riding to turn things on and off. Let's go do the other side. Okay, so here's our throttle tube side, and the throttle tube again has a cable hanging out of it. We need to make sure when we install this one that cable stays kind of down below here out of the way, because you don't want it sitting like this where it's popping up. You don't want it sitting backwards where it's really going to get in your way. But you got to bear in mind that when you're going to give this thing throttle, I'm going to install it about like this, so it's kind of at a 90-degree angle, so that when I go, you know, with my throttle, it comes back out of the way. If I put it down underneath, it's going to want to flip up like this. So I'm going to try and keep this installed, like I said, about right here. It kind of pointing down like that, so when I give it the gas, it'll pull up, but then it'll hide back down underneath again. So we're going to do the same thing again, where we're going to apply the glue as the lubricant and then the adhesive. We'll put plenty on here, so it wants to slide all the way on. Okay, like that. And then I'll ditch the gloves. And we'll put our tube on. Again, in the direction I want it to go. And you got to work fairly quick because this will start to set up on you. So there you go. You can see when I give it the gas, it'll move up here out of the way, and then when it's here, it's tucked down underneath. So I've got them installed. Now it's time to get them wired up. Okay, so something I should have mentioned prior to doing this is I hooked the whole system together prior to installing the grips just to confirm that the system was working. It's probably a good idea to do that, because that way you know if it works beforehand and you install it and it doesn't work, it gives you some diagnostic capabilities to figure out what happened. So this is the other part of the kit. This is our main power supply. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reattach these grips. Now I haven't run the cables like I'm going to run them. This is just a test to make sure once it's installed that it is in fact working properly. I've got some alligator leads that are clipped to my hot and cold for the switched. We'll connect these. Okay, we can see the lines are connected there. I'm going to turn my key on, which will make this line hot and active. So be careful, you don't want to ground anything out. And we'll come back over here to our switch, and you'll see this LED goes blue, green, orange, and then finally red. Red is the highest temp. And I'm going to let that sit here for a little bit just to confirm that my grips are in fact getting warm. Okay, so these grips have been on for a while now, and they are definitely getting warm. Remember to check both sides just to confirm. So it looks like we're ready to go. I am going to button up the wiring and clean it all up here so that I can get it all tied up underneath the bike and wrap it up. Okay, so I got the grips all installed. Turn the key on, hit the power, and the LED indicator that I showed you went red, and then it went out and started flashing purple. Thinking, what in the world is going on? So I start to test it again. Again, it goes red, shuts off, starts flashing purple. Start checking some of my connections, making sure that it's seeing power and everything, and actually read the directions. And lo and behold, these grips, if they see less than 11.5 volts, they will shut off. And that flashing purple LED is what tells you it's seeing less than 11.5 volts. So it won't kill your battery on you. Kudos to you, Koso, for figuring that out and building that safety feature into the grips. But once I hit the battery with the charger, came back up, everything's working as expected. So we're done here. I need to reassemble and do a couple other things, but grips are good to go. Thanks for watching.